Welcome back to the channel. Julia is with me in today's monologue. It's not so much a monologue, a dialogue, a chat.
Yes, a dialogue.
Welcome,
no monologue.
Welcome back to the channel, Julia, as it were, because I know you often feel you've been kicked off whilst I've been doing my normal monologues.
I joke about it, yes.
So one of the things that I've said on the channel is that I want to be part of the solutions rather than just talk about the solutions. And the solution, it seems to me, for many people, not everybody, but for many people, is to get back to the land, to grow stuff, to be independent as much as one can from the general rule of thumb, let's say. And so, as I've said on the channel before, I want to take you with us as we do that process. So I brought Julia on because we have been looking online for bits of land.
We have.
And it's not easy, is it?
No, it's one thing to look online for pieces of land, but it's another to go and visit them. So that's the next phase, isn't it?
So we've been scouring about what's been put on. Of course, there's a lot of people who want to put stuff on. There's a lot of people who've got land for sale, it would seem, because farms are being sold. But what's interesting is all these plots. You know, you get a big field or a farm, and then it's cut into all these little plots.
Yes, segmented.
And so you can see that they're maximising the amount of money that people can get from the land, rather than selling perhaps one great big field, say a 10 or 20 acre field. They seem to be cutting them up into little plots, which may be 20, 30, 40, and £1,000, that is.
Yes.
And you don't know who's going to end up next to you. And the division is basically a line. It's not even a hedge or a road or a natural stream.
Yeah.
So we've been avoiding those because...
You never know who's going to end up next to you. I mean, we want neighbours, of course.
Yes.
I mean, the whole idea is to have a self-sufficient community, not, you know...
Exactly.
The key is community and not doing it alone, because it's, well, as we know, very hard.
And so that's a problem when buying land. So we try to avoid that. Trying to find a piece of land that perhaps has got some planning permission on just skyrockets the land out of all proportion, even if it's a derelict building.
Yeah.
And that's not within our remit at the moment.
Sadly.
Sadly. We found one down in in Devon. It's about 11 acres, which would be perfect for us. 11 acres, you could get a few cows, 3 cows on there.
Yeah, a couple of cows.
Pigs.
Pig or two.
Bees and chickens.
Chickens.
So on that sort of thing. And so it all looked good. And also there were deciduous trees.
Absolutely.
Dotted here and there, and a nice hedgerow. So you think, brilliant, that's perfect. And if you wanted to move on the site, there are sort of discrete areas to deal with so that you're not upsetting the neighbours. You could go down the route of getting a planning permission, not saying yay or nay to that at this stage. But you could be out of the way and no annoyance to anyone. And this snag with this. Oh, and there was a little stream at the bottom.
Oh, at the bottom, yeah.
So you could actually take water from the stream, filter it, clean it, reverse osmosis or distill it, whatever.
Yeah.
But
there's a
there were
waterworks.
three snags, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So
one was there's a waterworks next to it, so it would depend which way the river flows.
And by waterworks we meant, you know, these sort of circular, I don't know what they call them.
Sewage works.
Yeah, I think it's sewage. So it might pong. So that would be number one. Down at the bottom of the field it might pong, and you don't know if it's going to leach into the field. So that would be good. And if wouldn't be good. And if it also, because it's next to the stream, what do they do with the water? Is it supposedly cleaned up and then put into that water? Well, I wouldn't want to be drinking the water if it was downstream of that.
No.
So that was an issue. The other thing was, of course, it had an access road for the engineers to get down to that, and we don't know how often they would use that.
And a bridleway, which isn't so bad.
And the third was the bridleway.
Footpath / bridleway.
Yeah. So that would mean that anybody could observe what you're doing. Not that we have a huge problem with that, but at least it was on the side. And I think there were electricity lines going across, if I remember rightly. So
skimming one part, I think.
Yeah, and so I don't really want to be under all that electromagnetic radiation. So that's, these are the sort of things that we're looking at.
These are the boxes that need ticking. Some boxes can,
Yes.
be left, but
So
it's compromising.
we found one that was on the edge of a village somewhere, and it was, I think, not even half an acre. And it was interesting because the website had a drone footage of this field, completely thistle bound, and what's the stuff horses can't eat?
Oh,
Ragwort.
Yeah, that's the one. I was going to say cow parsley. It looks a bit like it, but it's not.
Yeah, dried up ragwort, and we just have to get rid of all of that because it wouldn't be good. So it was a lot of hard work.
Well, apparently it has uses, so maybe we can do something with that, but...
But anyway, it was only less than half an acre. But actually, I looked at that and I thought, compared to the houses around, that's still big enough to grow, but you wouldn't really have much in the way for animals, chickens maybe and bees. But the beauty of that one was it was hugged by very thick hedges, so you could be quite discreet. But it was right on the edge of a village, and one of the things we're looking for is to be away from the 5G masts.
Yes.
So every village is going to end up with these 5G masts. The only way to do it is to get out into the countryside and the farmers' fields. There are many other fields that you could get that have no vehicular access, or woodland that has no vehicular access. So you can walk to it, and they charmingly say, this is a golden opportunity to buy a piece of, Britain's nature or whatever. Yeah, that's fine if you don't mind the 3-mile hike to it, and which I don't mind the hike, but you want to be able to bring your vehicle in to access it, and if you're staying overnight, which you would be able to do in a van, you're not necessarily living on the site, but you could stay overnight. That becomes a problem.
Yeah, getting supplies down there to build said little shelters and things.
So that's kind of an
all
issue.
good fun.
We wanted to share the journey, so we may well go and look at some stuff. Now, we have heard of a friend type situation. We won't say where it is as yet, but there's a potential something there, which I think is only, smallish acreage. But again, you could get maybe some animals, and there may be other fields up for sale or rental or something which might
nearby
work.
or close to, yeah.
So there is land out there. That's the optimistic part of it.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to be on that journey now, isn't it?
It is.
Because for you, it's been something that you've been aiming for a long time, and I've been sort of busy with the website.
Yeah, something we talked about when we first met. Website channel.
Yeah. And so it's been
now that we're an item,
yes,
I've been desperate to get off and unify our lives in the first place, but to be able to grow our food and rear our food.
Well, this is it, taking back control and being able to grow your own food, know the provenance of it, where it's come from, get a polytunnel up and start growing immediately, start doing things, pottering around. We've watched other people do it on their channels, and it's just heartbreaking, the cost of the land and the fact that the opportunity is very slim. There's so many people, isn't there, who want to do similar things. Mm-hmm. In an ideal world,
if money wasn't an issue, we'd be getting a massive farm and we'd be building a little village, a farming village out of it, bringing more people in. But
absolutely, and bringing back some of the old traditional ways, using some modern technology, of course. We don't want anyone to sort of have to break their back with hoes and scythe, unless they want to. And those old practices, they're always good. It's always good to have one's foot in the very old-fashioned way, because you appreciate then what you can do more quickly with some of the modern technology.
Just call it ancient skills rather than old-fashioned ways.
Yes.
I mean, old-fashioned is kind of, it's fashion. It goes in and out of fashion, isn't it?
Well, that's true. One of the things that we would love to get is an old-fashioned...
or vintage.
Or vintage, so I was going to say it's not ancient. Fergie tractor.
Little grey Fergie. That's what
those
we want,
ones
isn't
from the
it?
1940s, because they were designed to be repaired in the field. They go on forever.
Apparently, even I could fix one.
Even Julia could fix one. Julia's good at driving them. We have driven tractors and things before, ploughed grass
Lucky
and what
enough
have
to,
you.
yeah.
So that would be quite fun. And also, if we've only got, I don't know, less than 5 acres, whatever it is, there's going to be jobs that you'll need a tractor to do. A rotavator. We want to do no dig.
Oh, absolutely.
Principally, but there may be stubborn things to move, bits of earth to shunt around. You never know.
Tree stumps to move.
Yeah.
And we don't have horses to do that with.
We might have
as yet.
a hole to dig for a pond, for water, for the wildlife
Animals
and things.
And the wildlife, yeah.
To try and attract the pollinators and things like that. So there's going to be a huge amount of expense. So we've got to budget all of this, and that'll be one of the things that we will share with you once we've worked out where we are, what we're doing. But anyway, so rather than my normal monologue where I'm, pontificating about life, the universe, and everything, and how terrible things are going, we want to be, as I said, part of the solution. And then, of course, once we've got somewhere, to find like-minded people with small holdings who are doing similar things so that we can trade with them. So if we've got honey or we've got veg and they've got meat or raw milk, we can trade. And that's what we need, a network of all of it. Now, I dare say there is a website up there with these people so that we can then trade and send and learn and hold seminars on the land and things like that to get more people interested in this. This is a vital step forward for the future.
Yeah, a little hub for crafts of old. Great.
So, thank you very much for watching this somewhat tentative first steps. But we are behind the scenes, we are starting the journey, and we will share more of it with you so that you can see what we're doing and hopefully be inspired. There's plenty of you growing stuff in your allotments, in your back gardens, and maybe people on small holdings who can help us and advise us, because if you do that, we'll be pushing that message further afield, literally. So,
literally.
Yeah.
So sorry you didn't get your usual. Why is the very lovely benevolent government trying to stop us from looking after ourselves properly and then blaming us for not looking after ourselves properly? But we just wanted to have a little
natter and tell you where we are. So early days.
We're here in the kitchen.
Yeah. And we've got the fire going because it's chilly.
Bless you the Essie.
Cheers now.
Bye-bye.